You're carrying something rare, something most people will never understand. Not because it's hidden and not because you're better than them, but because they're not ready for it yet. And the truth? You just became ready. That's why this message isn't just information for you. It feels like recognition. Reality is not a rigid system where you push a button and get a fixed result. It's not a machine. It's a field, a living, responsive field. Most people believe life works like this. If I work harder, I'll get more. If I suffer enough, I'll deserve success. But that's only a surface-level truth. At a deeper level, reality responds to something far more subtle: your internal frequency. Think of it like this. You are constantly broadcasting a signal, not through your words, but through your beliefs, emotions, and identity. And life is simply responding to that signal. Everything you want, success, love, clarity, opportunities, already exists as possibility around you right now. But here's the catch. You can only experience what matches your inner state. If your mind is filled with doubt, you'll notice problems. If your identity is rooted in lack, you'll attract more situations that confirm it. Not because life is unfair, but because it is consistent. It mirrors you. This is why two people can live in the same world, but experience completely different realities. One sees doors opening. The other sees obstacles everywhere. Same world, different frequency. And this is where everything changes. You don't need to chase reality. You don't need to force outcomes, because forcing comes from the belief that something is missing, and that belief itself pushes what you want further away. The more you chase, the more you confirm, I don't have it yet. And reality responds by keeping it just out of reach. But the moment you shift from chasing to aligning, everything starts to move differently. Alignment is quiet. It's not loud effort or constant struggle. It's a deep inner state where you stop fighting life and start matching what you want to receive. It's when your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs are no longer in conflict. That's when things begin to flow. That's when opportunities don't feel forced, they feel natural. That's when answers don't feel searched, they feel remembered. And maybe you've already experienced this before. A moment when something just clicked. When life suddenly made sense without trying. That wasn't luck. That was alignment. And once you understand this, you stop asking, how do I get it? And you start asking, who do I need to become to receive it? Take a moment and really look back at your life. Not just the big moments everyone can see, but the quiet, almost invisible turning points. The day something ended and you thought everything was falling apart. The moment someone walked into your life and said something so simple, yet it stayed with you for years. The opportunity you almost ignored, but somehow didn't. At the time, it all felt sloochy, unplanned, even chaotic. But now, looking back, doesn't it feel like it was all connected? Like each moment was leading to the next, even when you couldn't see the path? That's because it was. Nothing in your life has ever been truly random. What felt like coincidence was actually alignment happening quietly behind the scenes. Life wasn't throwing events at you without meaning. It was responding to the version of you that was slowly evolving within. Think about the moments that hurt the most, the rejection that broke your confidence, the failure that made you question everything, the ending you didn't want to accept. At the time, it felt like loss. But later, you realized it created space. Space for something better. Space for a stronger version of you. Space for clarity you didn't have before. What if those moments weren't setbacks, but set-ups? Not punishments, but preparation. Because here's the truth most people miss. Life doesn't give you what you want when you want it. It gives you what you're ready to understand. There are things you asked for in the past that didn't happen. Not because you were unlucky, but because if they had happened then, you wouldn't have known how to handle them. You would have misunderstood them or even destroyed them. Timing isn't random, it's precise. There's a perfect moment where your mindset, your emotions, and your awareness finally align. And only then does the opportunity appear. That's why some doors stayed closed, not to block you, but to protect you. And that's why some doors opened suddenly when you least expected it, because at that moment, you were finally able to walk through them. Even the smallest events had meaning. That random video you clicked, that message you almost didn't read, that delay that frustrated you, all of it was part of a larger pattern, a pattern guiding you toward this exact point. You didn't just arrive here by chance. Every experience, every mistake, every lesson was shaping your awareness, step by step, moment by moment, until you became the version of yourself who could finally see things differently. And that's why this message is reaching you now. Not earlier, because you wouldn't have felt it. Not later, because the moment would have passed. But right now, because something inside you has changed. Something has opened. And for the first time, you're not just hearing these words, you're recognizing them. Now, imagine something beyond the limits of your normal reality. A place that doesn't exist in time, not in the past, not in the future, but somewhere in between. A silent marketplace, alive, yet still. There are no crowds, no noise, no chaos, only a strange sense of presence, like everything there is waiting. At the center of this place sits a woman behind a long table. Her name doesn't matter. Her age can't be guessed. She doesn't call out to anyone. She doesn't try to sell anything. She simply sits, observing. And on her table are objects unlike anything you've ever seen. A bowl that seems to glow from within, as if it holds more than just light. A mirror that doesn't reflect your face, but something deeper, something you don't fully recognize yet. Rings, formed not from metal, but from moments, memories, emotions, and silent prayers. Each item feels alive, not physically, but energetically. People arrive here, sometimes, drawn by something they can't explain. They walk toward the table with curiosity, then quickly with desire. I want this. How much does it cost? They offer gold, power, status. But the moment they try to exchange, something strange happens. The gold loses its shine. The value disappears. It's as if the objects reject the transaction itself. Again and again, people try. And again they leave confused. Some call it a curse. Some call it illusion. But none of them understand what's really happening. Until one day, a traveler arrives, but this one is different. He doesn't walk in with confidence or desire. He doesn't try to impress. He doesn't try to control. He simply walks, slowly. His eyes are tired, not from weakness, but from searching too long. His hands are empty, not because he has nothing, but because he's let go of everything he thought he needed. He doesn't ask for anything. He just looks. And then his attention rests on something simple, not the glowing bowl, not the powerful mirror, just a small, ordinary object that everyone else ignored. To others, it looked meaningless, but to him, something felt different. As his hand moves closer, the air changes. There's no sound, but there's a feeling, a quiet recognition, as if the object is responding, not to his hand, but to something deeper within him. For the first time, the woman looks up, not surprised, but aware. The traveler doesn't speak. He doesn't try to negotiate. He simply picks it up, gently. And this time, nothing disappears. No illusion, no rejection. Everything remains solid, real. Why? Because this was never about buying something. It was never about having enough value. It was about becoming the kind of person who could finally receive it. The object didn't change. The system didn't change. He changed. He had reached a point where his inner state finally matched what he was trying to hold. And that's the law most people never understand. What you desire is not hiding from you. It's waiting for you to become aligned with it. That's why others couldn't take it. Not because they were denied, but because they weren't ready. They were still trying to take instead of becoming. And the moment you understand this, you stop asking, "Why don't I have it yet?" And you start realizing, maybe it's already here. I just need to become the version of myself that can finally hold it.
Here's where everything becomes uncomfortable. Because this is the part most people try to avoid. You've been told your whole life, if you want something badly enough, you'll get it. But if that were true, everyone would already have what they desire. The truth is deeper than desire, because desire alone doesn't create reality. Identity does. You don't experience life based on what you wish for. You experience life based on what you believe you are. Let that sink in. Because this changes everything. You can repeat affirmations all day. You can visualize success every night. You can work harder than everyone around you. But if deep inside your identity says, "I'm not enough, I don't deserve this, people like me don't succeed," then no matter what you do, you'll keep recreating the same results. Not because you're failing, but because your inner blueprint hasn't changed. Your mind might want success, but your identity is still loyal to struggle. And identity always wins. This is why people sabotage themselves right when things start going well. They get the opportunity, then overthink it. They meet the right person, then push them away. They get close to success, then suddenly lose focus. From the outside, it looks like bad luck, but from the inside, it's alignment. They're unconsciously returning to what feels familiar, because your nervous system doesn't care about what's better for you. It cares about what feels known, even if that known is struggle, even if that known is pain. So when something new enters your life, something bigger, better, more aligned, your system asks one question: is this safe or is this foreign? And if it feels foreign, you reject it. Not consciously, but automatically. That's why some people say, "Good things don't last. I always mess things up." And then they unknowingly prove it true, not because it's reality, but because it's their identity. Now here's the shift. You don't change your life by chasing better outcomes. You change your life by becoming someone for whom those outcomes are normal. Because when something feels normal, you don't resist it. You don't question it. You don't sabotage it. You accept it naturally. Think about it like this. If you believe you are confident, you don't try to act confident. You just are. If you believe you are worthy, you don't chase validation. You attract it without effort. So the real question is not, how do I get what I want? The real question is, who am I being right now that keeps creating the same results? And even deeper, who would I need to become for my desired reality to feel normal? Because the moment your identity shifts, everything else follows. Opportunities feel easier, decisions become clearer, actions feel lighter. Not because life changed, but because you did. And here's the most powerful part. You don't need to build a new identity from scratch. You already have it within you. A version of you that is confident. A version of you that is aligned. A version of you that is ready. It's not something you create. It's something you uncover. By letting go of the false beliefs that were never truly yours. The fear, the doubt, the old stories. They're not your truth. They're just patterns you repeated long enough to believe. And once you see that, you stop trying to become someone new, and you start returning to who you've been all along. Because at the core of it all, you don't get what you want. You get what you're ready to hold. There's a pattern most people live in without ever questioning it. When something doesn't work, they push harder. When life feels slow, they rush more. When things don't go their way, they try to control everything even tighter. It feels logical, but it's actually the very thing creating resistance. Because there are only two ways to move through life: force or flow. Forcing is what you've been trained to do. It's waking up with pressure in your chest. It's overthinking every decision. It's trying to control every outcome. It sounds like, I have to make this work. I can't fail. I need to figure everything out right now. And when you operate from that state, your body tightens. Your breathing becomes shallow. Your mind becomes noisy. You take action, but it feels heavy, exhausting, like you're constantly pushing against something invisible. That something is resistance. And resistance doesn't come from the outside world. It comes from within you, from fear, from doubt, from the need to control. Now compare that to flow. Flow doesn't mean doing nothing. It doesn't mean being passive or lazy. Flow is still action. But it's a different quality of action. It comes from clarity instead of confusion, from presence instead of panic. In flow, you're not forcing life to move faster. You're moving with it. Decisions feel lighter. Timing feels natural. Effort feels energizing instead of draining. You're still doing the work, but it doesn't feel like a struggle. Have you ever had a moment where everything just clicked? Where you weren't overthinking, you weren't trying too hard, but somehow everything worked? That wasn't luck. That was flow. And here's the truth most people miss. Flow only happens when you release the need to control everything, because control is built on fear. Fear that things won't work out. Fear that you'll lose something. Fear that you're not enough unless you prove it. But the more you try to control, the more life resists you. It's like trying to hold water tightly in your hands. The tighter you squeeze, the more it slips away. Flow works the opposite way. You allow, you trust, you stay present, and suddenly, things begin to move. Not because you forced them, but because you stopped blocking them. Think of a blacksmith working with metal. If he tries to force cold, rigid iron into shape, it resists. But when the metal is heated, softened, it becomes flexible, easy to shape. That's exactly how your life works. When you're tense, fearful, and controlling, you're like cold metal, rigid, resistant. But when you relax, when you release the pressure, when you allow yourself to be present, you become like molten metal, adaptable, open, ready. And in that state, life doesn't feel like something you have to fight. It feels like something you're creating with. So try this. Right now. Pause for a second. Drop your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. Take a slow, deep breath in. And as you breathe out, let go of the need to control everything. Just for this moment, feel what changes in your body. That softness, that space. That's where flow begins. And the more you return to this state, the more your actions become aligned, the more your life starts to unfold naturally. Because here's the paradox. The harder you try to force your life into place, the more it resists you. But the moment you relax into alignment, life begins to cooperate. Not because you gave up, but because you finally understood. You were never meant to fight life. You were meant to move with it. So say it, clearly and without hesitation. I am ready. Not later, not after fixing yourself. Right now. Because the moment you accept this, your reality begins to shift. Opportunities will find you. People will align with you. Life will respond to you differently. Drop one word in the comments, ready. Because that one word is not just a comment, it's a signal. And the universe is always listening.